Okay, so when you are in a SAP project, okay, you're all going to be part of a SAP project. When you are in a SAP project, how do things work? Okay, and this is something which would always 90% of the time remain the same, and that is why it is important to understand the overall architecture. Now, development, I've called it as an environment because these are different computer systems. So these are servers. This is an icon for a server. A server is nothing but a very big computer with a lot of processing power, with a lot of hard disk, with a lot of fans, okay, and with a lot of computing power and RAM. Okay. So development environment has more than one server sometimes. Quality server is one server, and then you have a production server. Okay. Now this is how you would normally work, and these are all about application servers. SAP S4HANA, the application is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the HANA database right now. That is at the back end. I'm not showing that at all. So we as function consultants, what we do is we spend our time on the golden master. Okay. This is the one of our development servers where you do your configuration. All the changes that functional consultants would do in the system would be done in the golden master. Similarly, when you ask your ABAP developer, the programmer, to do the changes, he is going to do these changes in the development client. He has another server, another client where he is going to do the changes. Finally, we move these changes to something which is called a test client. Okay, so you move the changes to a test client where you were going to test these changes. Okay, that is what you're going to do. And I will also teach you the process of movement. I'll tell you, show you how this movement happens. And finally, it is like moving goods from one house to another. So when you shift from one house to another, you have a brown, you bring a lot of brown boxes. You put your stuff inside the boxes, you package it, you give it a name that this box contains these items, and then you send it to the new house. And in the new house, you what do you do is you unpack it, right? So a very similar process happens here. We do our changes here, we send them here. We test them here because this is the test client. You're supposed to test it here, and then you send the changes to the quality server. Okay. And from the quality server, or first in the quality server, you do the testing. The customer also does the testing. Both of you do the testing because it is quality now. So you should have quality here. Only quality data, quality configuration, quality processes move here. Okay, here you could be moving anything, right? Even something you are testing, you're not very sure it will work or not, you'll move those changes here. Here you are only going to move your quality. Okay, and finally from here to here, you are only going to move changes which have been tested by you and approved by the customer. Okay, so things which are in the quality server will only move to the production server once they have been tested by everyone and signed off by everyone. Okay, production server is the server or the computer which is the truth. Okay, so this is the truth for the organization. You can do millions of dollars of sale here, that does not matter. You can do a lot of returns here, you can do anything that you want here, does not matter. The only thing which matters to the business is this. So you will finally, the business will start working here. Okay, here is the quality testing, this is your own testing, and this is where the business starts working. Okay, so they do their orders, deliveries, invoices, all their GLs, all their finances, all of that stuff happens in the production server. Okay, now these are the different servers in a project. Starting from development, I've called it environment because there can be more than one. Okay, and sometimes what they do is they take up a server, break it up into three. Sometimes they put up three servers, but the way the data moves is going to be the same, irrespective of whether there are three servers in the backend or whether it is one server which has been broken up into three logically. by programs, for you as consultants, the process is going to be the same. Okay, do your configuration here, move it here, get developments done here, ask your developer to move them here, test it here yourself. Once you're comfortable, move it here, ask the customer to test it. Once both of you are comfortable and you are going to go live, okay, you're going to start the project, you're going to start using the production server, that is the time that you move it here. Okay, these are the different servers in a SAP project, and these matter a lot in your day-to-day life, because when you are a consultant, this is how you're going to work. Okay, so we'll not be having these servers, we'll only be having one server, and I'll show you the processes somehow, but we work in something which is called a sandbox. Okay, so we are not going to have the luxury of all these servers. Now that was servers, and that was movement of your configuration data. Okay, this is movement of your configuration data. Remember that whatever you make for the organization. Okay, so you're working with IBM and you go to L'Oreal and you're doing their project. Okay, so whatever you make will move from here to here, and this is your stuff. Okay, this is not company stuff right now, this is configuration stuff, this is change stuff, right? This is what you were there for. Okay, once you are out of the project, these changes will be very less often. They'll do it themselves, or they'll hire you for a few hours a week to do some changes which might come later. Okay, now what I am showing you here are the various this is how SAP actually works. Okay, now, let's think of it like this. So this is the application server, which is basically the mind. This is where S4HANA is installed. Okay. This is also a server, but this does not have the S4HANA application. This has a software called HANA. This is also a software, but this is S4HANA software. This server or this computer is only running the HANA software. Okay. So you have a computer running the S4HANA software, you have a computer running the HANA software. And then, like you and me, we have our laptops and our desktops and our mobile devices where we have SAP GUI and Fiori. This is where we work. Okay. So when you work, so this process, when you work, you ask the S4HANA. So you log into the S4HANA application. From here, it is just presentation. Remember, this is just showing on your screen. This is just presentation. So when you log into the S4HANA server, okay? And then when you finally do your configuration changes, they go and get stored here, okay? Similarly, all your data which you will make, okay? Now, each of these servers have a same setup. So a development environment has a presentation, application, and database. A quality server is also broken up into presentation, application, and database. A production server is also broken up into presentation, application, and database. Okay. So everywhere it is going to be three levels. And that's why it used to be called R3 earlier. Okay. So you will log in here. You will log into the application which is actually running here. It is not running on your system. Okay. Unlike Excel or Word or PPT, it is not running here. Okay. So just it is, think of it like Gmail. You log into Gmail on your device, but Gmail is not running on your Chrome. Gmail is running on servers. Okay. And Gmail also has an application server which shows you things, which talks to you, which replies to you. But the data is stored in something which is called a database. Same is the case with SAP also. Presentation, it's presented to you. Okay. Application is the one where all S4 HANA is running. This is actually S4 HANA. Everything that you see is running here. Okay, all questions are and responses are given by S4HANA, but this server does not store data. The data is stored in this server. This computer does not store data. This computer is just an application. Okay, just a software which does which receives a lot of requests, responds back to you, okay, and goes back to the database server to check the data. Okay, so this is how it works, and I've tried to present it to you in a graphical format so that you understand better. So a presentation layer, you're sending the request to the application layer. The application layer requests to the database layer. The database layer responds back. Okay, so the application layer receives the response. Okay, sometimes send it, most of the times it'll change it to the format you want to see and then send it back to you. Okay, because it might have received in a format which you don't understand, and you understand plain simple English and commands, so it gives it back to you in the format in which you understand. Okay, so these are the three layers. So database, application, and presentation. Okay, now to make it easily understood by you, I'll try and show it to you. Okay, and let's see if you get it. So I'm logging into SAP. Now this right now is the presentation layer. It is presenting to me. Okay, now there's no so this now this data which you see has come from the application layer. Why? Because this is just basic config data. This is basically the application. I've not asked for any data now. This is basic application. Okay, this is the basic software. I've not asked for any data, any information at all. Now what I do is I go to a transaction called BP. I'm still at the application layer. Why? Because I've still not asked for data. I've opened a screen, and that screen is part of the application layer. All screens, all uh, they are part of the application layer. So I have come to an application. Now what I do is I put a number here. This is a customer number, and I say start. Now the moment I say start, it has found this information from the database. Okay, and I click on this and I say enter. I'll double click on this. Okay, now this customer has opened on my screen. Okay, my presentation layer is showing it to me. The data is coming from the database via the application layer and showing it to me on the presentation layer. Okay, so it's getting presented to me. What you see here, this design, this relationship, group, organization, person, all these tabs, all this design is from the application layer, because this is the application. This is how it shows. These are the various tabs, the various fields, the various structures, the moving up and down, okay, the boxes. All of this is the application layer which is presenting it on my screen. The data, wherever you see data, this has come from the database layer. All of this data has come from the database layer and it is showing on my screen. Okay, so three things working here: the presentation where I can see things, the application, you can see the application is there wherever database data is not there. So application would continue to show in the same way. Application has been made with a lot of fields, however the data is not present for those fields. So the application will continue to show, no problem, it is comfortable. But wherever it found data, it is showing to you. So this is a customer called More Retail. It's a company, it's not a person. Okay, then it's showing you it is in India. Then it is showing you it uses English language. The address is valid from 9th of March to 31st of December. Okay, so all these things are coming from the database. Okay, Now, for a lot of you, this will be a new concept, and therefore, what I'll do is, thanks, Turkesh. Okay, so back to the session. And this, seen this. So, where would we work? So, we would work in something which is called a sandbox environment, right? So, it's like a sandbox. You make it, you break it, you make it, you break it. You do not have the issue of moving things between development, quality, and production. This is your environment. Think of a test client where you can make master data, where you can do configuration, where you can do your programs. You can do every single thing here. Okay, every single thing you do here, this is the only one server available to you. Okay, it is called sandbox. It's like a sandbox where kids play, or it's going to be a sandbox where we as consultants are going to play. Okay, we're going to learn things, do things, and remember things. Okay, now I showed you a lot of GUI before telling you what's a GUI. So this is a graphical user interface. The way in which a user interacts with the software. Okay, so you are interacting with SAP. So SAP graphical user interface. You are interacting with the SAP. You're giving it instructions. It is giving results back to you. This is a GUI people are familiar with, and this is how you use a remote to navigate your TV's menu. Okay, so you press some buttons, the TV does something, and the TV responds back to you by giving you an output. Okay, so you press 132, it starts showing you ZTV. You say 135, it starts showing you Zoom TV. Okay, so similarly, what you do here, you get a response from SAP. This is a Fiori GUI, which is a similar way of doing things. The only difference it is available on the Chrome. Okay, it's available as a link, and it does not have transaction codes. You do not work on transaction codes. You work on applications, and it also shows up and opens in tabs and your phone. You cannot open your SAP GUI on your phone. However, you can open Fiori GUI on phone. If you open it on the phone, the fields will obviously not look like this. The fields will rearrange themselves to still allow you to work on a phone, because phone screen is small, you can see less. So the fields rearrange themselves. You do not have your move your thumb to see the left part of the screen and the right part of the screen. It does not work like this. It's responsive, which means it will rearrange itself and show it to you in a different manner, so that you can still see screens in a long format screen. Okay, that's the advantage and the beauty of Fiori. Okay, all our configuration, all our changes, whatever we are going to learn, whatever we are going to do, is going to happen in SAP Reference Implementation Guide. Okay, SAP Reference Implementation Guide is a screen inside SAP which shows you how to do your implementation. Okay, and why is it a reference implementation guide? Because it has references, it has things already made which you can use as references, and it guides you as well. Okay, it guides you in two ways. One, it guides you by the notes. So just by the looking at the English, you can make out. So sales and distribution, then you go into sales, then you go into documents, then you go into header, and then you say define document types. Similarly, sales and distribution, you can go into master data, and your most important data for a sale is your customer. So inside master data, you will find your customer. Okay, so it is guiding you in this way. That's one. Second is, if you see this, if you look closely and you see this icon. So it's a paper and glasses. Okay, so it says, do you want to look closely? Do you want to understand more? So that is basically your implementation help. Okay, and so I put an analogy here. This analogy is basically, so you have a complex piece of machinery or furniture. So think of this IMG or this implementation guide as a guide or steps which guides you through the various things that you need to do. So I, as a consultant, when I start in a project, what I do is I go into sales and distribution, do all the things in the master data, then close this. Then do everything in basics and functions and close this. Then do everything in sales and close this. I keep going into each and every node, finishing my work, so that in the end everything is done. Okay. So it's actually giving you structured guidance on setting up and tailoring the SAP system. Right, you're tailoring the SAP system and it is guiding you. Okay, first do master data, then do the basic functions, then do the sales. So it is telling you how to proceed step by step. Okay, so that's why it's called a implementation guide. You're going to implement SAP, it is guiding you. It's showing you the best way, the easiest, the fastest way for doing it. And this is the help. So when you click on this paper and glasses, this is what shows. Okay, so it's a the being English text written in a simple format. So if you've forgotten what is happening, if you've forgotten what this node does, then you can simply click on this icon, which is the paper and glass icon, and SAP shows you a big, long, simple English text written in plain English, which tells you about what you can do in that particular node. Okay, so SAP explains to you in plain English. Now these are your easy access screens. Okay, so I told you if you don't want to do transaction codes, then you can do. So this SAP easy access is the front end side of things. This is the back end. This is for you as consultants. End users will not get into this because this is config, this is change, this is setting up the system. End users or business users are not going to use this. Business users are going to use something which is called SAP easy access. Okay, so when you open SAP, even for you, this is the first screen which opens. Okay, for them as well and for you as well. And this is a screen which you use to do your business work. Okay, so SAP has given priority to the end user work, to the business work, because end of the day, SAP is installed for business. It's not for you and me to do consulting. SAP has been made for business, and businesses pay for SAP. Okay, so if you see here, this is a person who's trying to create a sales order. So logistics, within logistics, he says sales and distribution, then he says sales, then he says order, then he says create an order. And what SAP does is, this is a node of the tree. It's a tree like structure. In the node, what it also shows you is the transaction code. So that next time when you want to do this, you just type in VA01 and you can create a sales order. Create sales order. VA01. Create sales order. Okay, you can directly go to VA01 next time, just type in and this will open. You do not need to go into the link. Okay, but this thing, this easy access, is easy access for the end users. Okay, obviously you also get benefited, but this is for the end users who will do their business. Okay, so what are transaction codes? These are shortcuts or codes that users enter to access particular tasks or programs quickly. Okay, you want to do a task which is create a customer. Okay, BP, create a material, MM01, create a sales order, VA01. Okay, anything which you want to do quickly, you can do this. Okay, and this T code takes you to that screen without navigating through a series of menus. So you are not bothered about these menus, it directly takes you to that screen. You save a lot of time. Okay, it's like a speed dial feature. Instead of searching through a contact list, you can press one button which immediately takes you to a frequently dialed number. Okay, so that is what a transaction code is. It directly takes you where you want to go. Okay, now these are some important transaction codes which you will see and you will use. Slash and VS00 moves you from anywhere to the sales screen. Okay, wherever you are. Okay, say you are into purchasing or you are into production and you want to come back to the sales screen. So /n VA00 brings you to the sales screen. Okay, this is this SAP Easy Access for Sales. And now it will only talk about sales. It will not talk about other things. Here, if you see, it was talking about everything. It was talking about accounting, HR, information system, service, tools, etc. No. So you are saying I want to only see sales, inquiry, quotation, order, contract, etc. So /NVA00. Okay. Second thing is you are working on a screen, but you simultaneously want to work on three other screens. What do you do? Okay. So you want to open customer, you want to open a material, and you also want to create an order. Okay, so three screens you want to open. It /O on your keyboard allows you to generate a session list. Okay, so you will get a pop-up like this where you will say create, a new screen will get created. Okay, so like you can have 10 excels open on your system, you can have 20 word documents open on your system, you can also have 16 simultaneous screens open in your SAP system. 16 simultaneous screens. That is what it allows for each user. 16 screens. Okay. /NVF00 moves you to the billing screen, which is invoicing. Okay. So you can do your billing stuff here. Okay. And you are in one screen, you want to do something more. So you do /N, the new T code. What it does, it kills the current T code and opens a new T code. So you are in a customer, you want to open material. So you'll say /N MM01. It will kill the current session and open the material. Okay. This is an example I've given you. So okay. So that is one. /O what it does is it opens a new screen without killing the current screen. So I am in material. I slay /O VA00. So it opens this in a new session. It will not kill my current session. Now, this will be very important for you when you work, because if you are used to it, it makes your work really faster. If you're done with something, you want to kill it, just kill it and move to the new T code. However, if you are still working on it, then you use /O to move to the new transaction code. So I already gave you this example, I've put it here, which is specific business requirements that you get. You have to transform that into the system. The system does not know requirements. You are a human being, you understand English, you understand requirements, you understand sentiments, you understand current way of doing things. Okay, you are going to change the system. Okay, so customer just tells you, I do not need my accounting to happen. When the invoice says, don't let my accounting happen. Okay, now he does not know it is called posting block. He does not even know it is called posting. Block is a separate thing. Now you have to do these things. You have to do a 2 plus 2, a 1 plus 1, and finally understand that what he's trying to say is a configuration which is available here. Okay, and where do you learn this? This is what we are going to learn in our classes in the next 24-25 weeks. Okay, so this is what you actually do, right? This is configuration. I've taken a small example so that you feel easy and you feel comfortable. Okay, but there are many other fields which you will touch, which you will change, where you will take drop downs, where you will choose radio buttons. Yes, you will do that, but this is a small example to show you that when you get requirements, we as consultants are needed to do these changes. So we change them, we put it into a box which is called a transport request, and we send it to the next system. Yeah, that's our job. Obviously we test it ourselves first. These are some important keyboard shortcuts in the system. F1, you go to any field and press F1, it shows you the help. It can be help for a field or help for a configuration. F4 shows you the possible entries for that field, and F8 executes a program. Okay, so let me show you all of these three in the screen. Okay, So I am in a customer, the T code is BP. Now if you see here, if I do a F1 here, it shows me the help. Key identifying a business partner in the SAP system. The key is unique within a client. Okay, so it's trying to show me a help. I do this. Maximum number of selected entities. So it's showing you what this 100 means. If you don't understand what 100 means, just click here and do a F1. It will show you. Okay. So F1 is going to really help you a lot. Any field you don't understand, just click on it and do an F1. Okay. The next thing is uh, an F4. Okay. I'll show you the F4 as well. Okay. So I want to see which all regions are available. So I'm pressing a F4 on my keyboard and it shows me the various states of India. Okay. So this is how an F4 will help you. Okay. So this is F4. I can do an F1 on the same field. It shows me the description, the text, some more knowledge so that I understand what this field is. Okay. So this was an F1. An F4, it gives me the various options for that field. If I do an F4 in country, it will show me the various countries available in the SAP system. Okay. So F1, F4, and then I want to show you F8. So I want to see all the invoices that I have created. Okay, for 132. Okay. mm, Okay, so billing type F2. What are the various invoices I have created since the 1st of April 2024 till the 28th of April 2024? Okay, so what I'm doing on my keyboard is F8. What F8 does is it does the same thing as execute. So I'm not pressing execute, I'm doing an F8. It's given me all the invoices I've made. Now I'll show you the same thing. Now to go back, and now I'll do an execute. You see it's done the same thing. So F8 on your keyboard is like execute button. Show me the report, execute it. It has given you all the invoices. Okay, what's the dollar value? Also it is showing to you. So F8 does the work of execute. So F1 is help, F4 is the various options. So F4, instead of pressing F4, you can click on this. This also does the work of an F4. Okay, shows you the various options. Sales org, I want to see various options. F4, if not F4, click on this. F1 will give you an help, and F8 is going to run it for you. You want to come back, you do F3. F3, keep coming back. Okay, so F3 till you are back on your easy access screen. Okay, so these were the most important transaction codes. Okay,